Welcome to another episode of the Anime Syndicate. I'm your host, Frank, joined here with Josh.
Yo.
All right, then. So we're here to talk about the next season of Overlord as we catch Josh up. So, Josh, what did you think of the season?
Well, I hate fucking Isekai. I just want to make that clear. This anime has some good things about it, has some bad things about it. And we'll probably get into that, obviously, at some point. Obviously tonight. But before we get too deep into it, I just wanted to say, if you enjoy this podcast and others, you can go to GameRageMagazine.com and check out all of our multitude of other podcasts that we have about damn near every subject you could possibly imagine. And you can follow us on the Instagram at Game Rage Magazine, also at TikTok, same thing, at Game Rage Mag on Twitter/X. And you can also check out Millennial Frog's new albums, just dropped this week, hot and ready everywhere albums are sold, and they're also free. So go check them out. Anyways, all right, now that cheap plug is out of the way, we can get down to the matter of the business. So this season, okay, you were right about season 4 is best season, because so far this has been the best season in my opinion. All of the fucking buildup of the last 3 seasons has finally come to pass. It's all the payoffs that he's been kind of moving towards have begun to take effect, I guess.
Right.
And I do still have my I mean, goddamn, they got me, man. They got me good. I mean, did you want to do like we've been doing and just recap each episode and go from there? All right. So we'll get to it. We will get to it when we get to it toward the end of the season, about the thing that pissed me off, and they got me. They tricked me. But getting into it, episode 1 of the season, episode number 40 overall, being the Sorcerer's Nation of Ainz Elgone, right? That's the name of the episode. So basically, this episode, Ainz is depressed, and he's essentially only surrounded by his subjects, his loyal servants. And he's like, talking about he misses the interaction with his other guild mates that were in the guild. And he basically, he made this orphanage that, it was in Irantel that, would identify talented people that they could take and make loyal to them before they had the, I don't know what the word is, the corruption of being an adult and the treachery of gaining loyalty to someone else. This way they can find the most powerful people essentially from birth. It's kind of like what the Jedi did in Star Wars. You find the most powerful and you make them immediately loyal because you give them nothing to know except you.
I think it's closer to the Spartans.
Yeah, okay. That's probably
that was more brainwashing.
That's
Jedi
true.
Was more less brainwashing.
Yeah, it was a little. Yeah, true. Maybe it was a little less brainwashing. And he basically took the widows of the dead Riestes soldiers to give them a way to survive. So he made them the people in charge of this orphanage, and like they work there. So they take care of all these kids, and they basically that's their job. So this episode was kind of it was just kind of continuing a little bit of the aftermath of what happened at the end of the last season. This is now them fully being an actual nation in this realm, I guess we'll call it, right? Because it doesn't really have a name, I don't think, yet, the whole continent or world. Right. So basically, we get into now the governance part of this whole shit. Because Albeto's talking about how, hey, Irantel is having some issues, all right? The merchants, they're too scared now that you're in charge. Like, they don't want to come back. They don't want to come around and fuck around and find out, obviously. So they're like not having it. So Pandora's actor is being,
this is when they set up that whole baller ass fucking thing I said it about you. That I told you about, where he sends Albedo to try to set up trade negotiations with the other kingdom.
Right.
But in reality, all they're doing is setting up connections with the underground,
Yeah.
thus empowering the criminal element,
Yeah.
thus destabilizing the country.
Right, yeah. And so now Pandora's actor shoehorns his way into this fucking episode. And yes, Pandora's actor, they refer to it as an annoying personality, but really it's the Hitler, it's the fucking Nazi-esque, salute and all that stuff, right? So Ainz is like, I gotta figure out how to get this dude to stop doing this. So he basically comes up with this idea of, I'm just gonna tell him, hey, listen, man, I as your creator, I would like you to grow past what you have been programmed to do, essentially, and do your own things and come up with your own way and your own personality of doing stuff. And I'd be very proud of you if you did this. And that he doesn't want anyone else to know, because he doesn't want the other floor guardians to think, oh, that there's favoritism. Yeah, it's probably fucking owl or something walking around out there. So he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go ahead, and he's like, I'm gonna do this. But he was talking about how when he was posing as Momon, because remember that's what Pandora's actor was doing, that he was basically, people were asking him about Ainz and finding out, like, they're just asking a bunch of questions about him and like what he is, and what is this, a fucking mint? Interesting. So he basically says that the floor guardians are kind of viewing people, the humans, as lesser beings. And it's very evident, like, Albedo is basically racist at this point against humans. I mean,
They all are.
I mean, yeah, they all are, but she is more outspoken, I feel like, than some of the rest of them. Especially when they're interacting with Ainz. She is, if they say something that slightly could be considered maybe not of a word of the utmost respect, she immediately is like, you dog, you will die for your insolence. You are nothing but a petty insect upon the world of Ainz Jalgu. Like, it's funny, but so,
which is the complete tone shift to her sister.
Yeah, basically. So Ainz is starting to talk to Einzak, the guy who's the master of the Adventurer Guild. Right. And he's like, hey, man, my Death Knights are basically just keeping the peace. And I know all your guys' work is pretty much gone the way of the dodo here. And it's no more. So I'm wondering if I could absorb the guild into the kingdom. And I will put the adventurers to work and send them off to explore unknown lands and, help them be essentially diplomats.
Be essentially what an adventure guild actually is in video games.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And so Ainz says he wants to now rule human and non-human in a kingdom together where everybody can just be at peace, right? It's that thing that we said the other day about you're gonna be peaceful even if I have to punch you in the face, or what was that?
No, we want to show them our peaceful ways through force.
Oh yeah, through violence or force or whatever. Yeah. So that's kind of the attitude that he's taking here. So then we get into episode 2, the Riestes Kingdom, and this was when Ainz is going to make sure that his plan to establish this peaceful kingdom doesn't interfere with the Floor Guardians' plan of obvious world domination, right? Because that's their whole... They think that's what he wants.
Right.
And honestly, I don't know why he isn't just leaning into that. Like, I don't know why he wants to...
Because he doesn't want the responsibility.
I guess, but at this point, it's too late. And the only way that you're ever going to have any fucking chance of possibly figuring out how to maybe get yourself out of this situation is to just take over everything. And one of the things that it's kind of, I think, brought up a little bit later in the season is that he realizes that he's basically immortal, but I mean, he can be killed. He's not invincible.
Right.
So I think he realizes, okay, if I'm going to be here, and that's what I would be saying. Listen, if I'm going to live forever, I might as well turn this into the fucking, I might as well be the emperor, the emperor of the golden throne of Warhammer 40K lore. I mean, I might as well just do that and, you know, make this whole thing to my design, right? That's what I would do. But obviously he's not me. So
well, he's not a sociopath like you.
I guess that's a good point. You do bring up a very good point. So
ironic. The skeletal monster is more human than you.
Yeah, that's true. So basically, the Princess Renair has established this orphanage in Riestes to identify the magically talented orphans, right? Like we were talking about. Prince Barbaro is still missing, and we know he's dead because you know he got murdered by the Goblin Army, the dope ass Goblin assassins.
They got murdered by
Oh no, it was her. It was that's right. It was the one I can't say her fucking name.
Yeah. The dumb one.
The dumb one, yeah. So that's right. But he got his they got their asses handed to them. And so we know he's dead. So Zanak is the acting crown prince of Riestes.
The fat kid, right?
The fat kid, yeah.
Which is funny because he went from annoying to a dumb, pointless character to like a pretty well-rounded one in this season.
Yeah, in this season when he's actually in charge, he actually kind of was like, man, he stepped into his role. And
I mean, he earned Ainz's respect.
Oh, absolutely.
Just not the royals.
Yeah, that's true.
Just not the nobles.
Exactly. Which obviously led to his downfall, which we'll talk about later. Or as soon as we get to that episode, basically. So now he's trying to basically figure out what he's got to fucking figure shit out. Then we get to Brain, and he is still fucking reeling from Gazif's death and the fact that he wasn't worthy enough to die with him. So he's trying to find the replacement for Gazif because he doesn't believe he's the one to replace him.
Right.
Which, honestly, that humility is one of the traits that probably says that he probably is the one that could replace him.
Right.
So he basically is looking for these kids to replace Gazif. Meanwhile, Albedo gets there to Riestes, and this was when Ainz was going over this whole thing with her. He's being very like overly protective of her, and she was obviously loving it because she's insanely in love with him.
Because the last time he sent a guardian out, she got possessed.
Right, and so now he's just like, oh, I can't have this be happening to Albedo. So he's basically giving her he gives her all this shit, and he's just like, yeah, here, listen, here's the teleporter, here's all this. Like, if the first sign of trouble, you just come back here and don't mind anything else. And so that's when she goes and she meets with the minor noble Philip Montserrat.
This douche.
That guy is a douche, man. And he is just fucking...
That was the other part of the plan that I liked. Sorry. Where we were talking about where they were empowering the criminals to stabilize the kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, it's your cat.
Okay, yeah.
But then they also chose this douchebag to try to promote him up the line of the nobles to make even that side even weaker.
Yeah. Yeah. So he basically invites Albedo to this fucking party. And so this guy's dad is pissed as fuck. His brother died basically fighting Ainz. And this kid is like, no, man, we need to establish ourselves in this, right? In this thing.
This is the future.
This is the future. This is the way. So there's this other commoner, Hilma, which we find out has basically, well, she's been the one that's been supporting Philip and this kid financially. And she's trying to profit from him once he gets the title that his dad has or whatever, the Baron or whatever the fuck
the
he
chick
is.
That's the
skinny blonde chick with the like, yeah.
I was thinking about the criminal chick, the one with the snake tattoo. But no,
that's a different one, yeah. But it's funny because Albedo, when this guy like he touches her and she's just like, because that chick, the chick that's been funding him is working for Ainz. She is part of the syndicate or the criminal guild, but she is talking with Albedo after they leave, after this dude, like, he like rubbed on her and like touched her. And she's like, oh, that disgusting filth. Like, I need to tear my skin off, basically, that he would have the nerve. And then she's like, oh, Miss Albedo, Lady Albedo, would you like me to murder him for you, basically? And she's like, no, we need to utilize him for now. So like, I will let it go. I'm just venting, basically. And
just like that scene where Shaltier's punishment was to be Ainz's chair.
Yeah.
It's like, excuse me for a second. Oh, this happens to be a hole in the wall. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So then this Philip guy basically says to Hilma that, oh man, I'm gonna seduce this chick and I'm gonna marry this demon lady, and this is how I'm gonna get us in. And essentially, we all know that that's not where this is gonna go, right? Hilma meets with Albedo, and they all secretly meet together with the other nobles who actually have a say and actually have an influence. And they start going over the real plan to figure out how they're going to get these supplies back to Erantel, right? And then we go back to Princess Renair, who set up this orphanage, and now it's going well. And Albedo is rewarding her under Ainz's orders for her loyalty to them. And we'll find out later in the season that she does get a pretty, and this was a real swerve that I knew this chick was crazy.
You talking about the princess?
The princess, yeah. Like, I knew she was crazy, but I didn't think she was this crazy.
You don't have the half of it, dude. The shit that they kept out
from the manga.
The light novel.
Oh, light novel. Okay.
The shit they kept
real
out.
Quick, just for people that don't know.
You're asking the wrong person.
All right. Because I also don't know, so I wanted to know. I was curious.
Yeah, because I haven't read it. I haven't read a light novel as opposed to a manga. I'm assuming it's where a manga is like 10 or 15 pages, and I think a light novel is like, I don't know, a couple hundred.
I just have to know now that we asked it. Okay, so it says light novels tend to use far more words and complex writing. Manga simplifies the language into concise dialogue and text overlaid images. It says a light novel may challenge readers with advanced vocabulary and descriptions, while manga uses more visual expressions. So
it's like that.
The light novel is more of like, it's like a book it's like a picture book.
I was saying it's more like that meme from Family Guy, where it's like, where Meg's like, it's Meg, but it says manga.
Oh yeah.
It's like, because why do you guys keep acting like you're better than me? And there's a family wearing all fancy clothes. It's like light novels.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Okay, well, that's good. That's good to know. Now we know the difference.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, from the light novel, the stuff. Fuck, I forgot his name, but this is a really good YouTube channel I follow where he talks about all the stuff that's kept out of mangas and light anime novels from the anime. And I did a couple I watched most of his for Overlord, and I'm currently watching the ones he's doing for the Jobless Fuck, I can't say the name anymore. Uzukai Tenshu, whatever. Mm-hmm. And that time I was reincarnated as a slime.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of shit gets left on the cutting room floor.
I would imagine it would have to, just to keep the shit going, because it's harder to, and plus making the animation's expensive as shit. So it's like, you can't animate every single thing. You know?
Say that, but look at what Mappa's been doing with Jujutsu Kaisen, fucking all the Dark Trilogy, Chainsaw Man. They just got picked up to do the next One Punch Man season. They're pumping out. I mean, but it's Japan, so it's exploitative
labor.
Culture.
Yeah, those dudes are literally living there for the 6 months that they're making this shit. They're not leaving.
Like, I remember I was talking to my buddy about that. Not about that, but the culture in Japan.
Uh-huh.
And because I was talking about like how, oh yeah, like in Japan, you can take a nap at your desk and you don't get in trouble because they see that as, oh, you're working so hard that you fell asleep working or whatever. He goes, oh man, that's so fucking cool. I'm like, no, dude,
it's not,
because you're living at your office.
Yeah, you live there, like. So, anyways, get back on track here. we get into episode 3, the Baharuth Empire, and basically it goes back to show that world item that Albedo was given by Ainz, the Ginin Gagap, which is supposed to prevent the brainwashing effect that happened to Shaltir.
He also has he's also watching the list to see if the names changes colors.
Right, yeah. And this was also a really cool sequence that happened right after this because all right. You want me to keep talking?
Yeah.
All right. This was a really cool sequence that we got to see because I'm sure you can hear me in there. This was a really cool sequence that we got to see regarding the cardinals of the slain theocracy all sitting down and having this meeting. And this is really, we haven't really seen much from the slain theocracy this whole leading up to this, I guess, because it's been 3 seasons already, but this is the 4th season. So this 3 and 1/4 seasons, we haven't really seen jack shit of them other than at the beginning and a little bit sprinkled here and there. All right, sorry, we're back. I fucking thought somebody was breaking up for a second there. But anyways, so basically the slain theocracy, they're talking about how they've seen Ainz use this what they're calling 11th tier magic to massacre all those guys, that 100 and whatever 30,000 guys that he killed in that last battle at the end of the last season. And they basically said that they need to do some spying. They need to spy on the Emperor. What's the fuck? I can't say that. Jerkniv.
Yeah, whatever that.
I can't say his name. The Emperor, right? They need to spy on his ass of the Baharuthian Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we start to see him unravel after this, and he is losing his mind because he can't deal with this shit.
Because I mean, before he meeting Ainz Ungul, he thought he was one of the most powerful leaders in the world.
Yeah.
And now he's a fucking insect.
He's basically nothing. He's just he's a slave now at this point. So basically, he as he's this every scene he's talking like his hair is falling out. Like that's how stressed this dude is. And so,
but I mean, he found the way to get out of it.
Yeah, basically. And so now he's hoping that the slain theocracy is going to be his secret ally against Ainz.
Mm-hmm.
So he hires the Adamantite Adventures, the Silver Thread Bird, as guards to because all of his warriors have quit. Everybody has said, "Fuck this, we screw you guys. I'm going home." Like they all resigned after that last battle because they're like, "Yeah, we ain't fucking around with this shit. We gonna get killed."
Which I don't get why, because
they were protected by it.
Yeah.
But I can also see the reason too, because the Emperor's fucking could betray this other guy at any moment and tell us all we got to go fight.
Then that's when you go AWOL.
Yeah, I guess. But
that's the opportunity. You go, hey, Lorenz, our Emperor wants to betray you. Please don't kill me.
Yeah, please don't kill me. Can I please join up? Like, or whatever. I don't know. So he has this. So they're having this gladiatorial combat, which this was kind of cool too. This gladiatorial thing. And you don't know at the time what's going on because obviously it's not explained yet. But the Emperor goes there he's going to see this shit, and he calls this secret meeting. He's using this cover of this gladiatorial deal to have a secret meeting with the slain theocracy guys. So they roll up, and they're going to it's the guy coming out of retirement, the strongest warrior from the Baharuthian Empire, the Warrior King, who has never been defeated, right? And so he's coming out of retirement just for this.
Do you think it was kind of a cop-out that it was a troll?
I mean, it made sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt
because it's because okay, if you think about gladiatorial combat, it's not magic, it's not none of that bullshit. It's all just pure brute strength. And I feel like basically a barbarian troll is probably going to be one of your strongest fucking people, I guess, at this point. So it made sense. Did you think it was a cop out?
I kind of did.
What would you? Did you think?
I don't know. I was kind of expecting for like an old man, human.
Oh, okay.
I was expecting like an old human or something like that. I know it's a trope, but the troll being a troll is like, okay, I get it. It's also an anti-troll, but I don't know. It's not what I was expecting.
That's true. When they were calling him the Warrior King, I was expecting it to be, like you said, that old man. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be like an old grizzled gladiator. And it's like, oh, beware. It's like that fucking saying of like, oh, beware the old man in the profession where men die young.
Or is it youth and exuberance is no match for old age and treachery?
Yeah, exactly.
Like what I was expecting to happen was like it's going to be this old wise guy who's fought his entire life. And the second he comes face to face with, well, as we later find out to be Ainz.
Right, yeah.
For him to just instantly recognize.
Oh, yeah, I'm done. I'm out.
But to still fight him.
Yeah, he's got to fight him. Like he knows he's going to die, but he's got to fight him.
Kind of like, well, because I was thinking that'd be a good way to attach this guy to Gazef in Ainz's mind.
Right, yeah.
Because Ainz respected Gazef.
And maybe he could get this guy to join him or whatever. Yeah. Maybe that guy would join him. Obviously, the troll doesn't. But
the troll does.
No, he kills him, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he revives him. He resurrects him.
Yeah, but I thought the troll said he wasn't going to...
He says if you can beat him, he will.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, anyway, so then we get to this. But before the battle happens... This is the
baller move.
Baller, but totally random and by accident. And this just shows sort of his good fortune.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, his luck skill in the game must be been very high for it to transfer, because those skills transfer over.
Yeah.
For it to all this shit just to be falling into his lap as the way it does.
Because he literally goes to just say hi to the Emperor.
He was literally just giving him the greeting, but the Emperor took it as he knows.
Because he's sitting right there next to the dudes from the Slain Theocracy. Because then Ainz looks and says, oh, tell me about your friends. And he's literally saying it to be polite, not implying. And the Emperor's like, he knows. He's got me. How did he know this? This was happening.
That one song. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah. No one knew of this meeting. Mm-hmm. How did he know? And he's like, we're cooked. This is it. And he's like, my only fucking chance is to serve. To serve. Yeah. Like I have no other option.
And with that, what's it called? What's the name of the empire? The Bahamut Empire?
The Bahamut Empire, yeah.
Becomes a vassal state of the what's this? The Sorcerer Kingdom?
Yeah, Nazarick.
Yeah, but it was called the Sorcerer Kingdom.
Yeah. I think it was the Sorcerer Kingdom of Nazarick, right? Mm-hmm.
It's just fucking great.
Yeah, because he thinks that's basically and it is a play, but it's happening. It's happening completely by accident. So he's believing that Ainz is now forcing him to either publicly support him and choose him or choose the Slain Theocracy in front of him. He's gonna make him do it in front of him, and he's losing his shit. And so then the Theocracy does say, "Oh, bitch, you are involved in the conspiracy. We're not dealing with you." And so he's like, come on, man. He's like, listen, this dude is undead. That's the enemy of you guys. Just come on. We got to work something out. Mm-hmm. He's just like, come on, guys. There's only one way we're going to defeat him, and that's if we do it together. So he's begging them and say, listen, at least just watch him so that maybe you'll find his weakness or some shit. Mm-hmm. And so that's when we get into episode number 4, The Ruler of Conspiracy. What a great name for the episode just because of how it goes. So we take a little step back and we go back to Albedo right after she left from Riestes. In her boobtastic new outfit. Yeah, absolutely. And the fan service is strong with this one.
Well, what'd you do it? How'd you do it in the anime intro episode where you're like, hey, booba.
Yeah, booba. Booba. Hey, me. Booba. So, essentially, it's showing how Ainz basically smuggled himself in with the help of the leader of the Emperor, or the leader of the Adventurers Guild. And he was basically saying that I think we should train some new fucking adventurers because it may be problematic. We might cause too much attention if we start bringing on all these high level famous adventurers, right? Like maybe we should start at the bottom, or something to that effect. So, Ainzak is cool with that. And so Ainz basically gets him to set up a meeting with the fight promoter. Mm-hmm. And so this guy's name's Fluter. And it was kind of cool because he says, oh, Lord Ainz, I'm sorry. Like Ainzak's telling this to Ainz. And he says, hey, I'm sorry, Lord Ainz, that basically he told me that he can't meet until tomorrow. But since you are who you are, I can tell him you are who you are, and I'm sure he will immediately clear his schedule, and you can meet him right now. And so Ainz is like, no need. This is on the low, basically. So yeah, no need for that. So fucking Einzak is impressed by this. He's like, man, the patience of this dude, and again,
falls into his lap.
It just falls right into his. And I don't think he's doing any of this on purpose.
In Ainz's mind, he goes, no, I can't make a ruckus because people will know I'm here.
Right.
And this guy, he is humble. He understands the game.
He truly is the emperor of the world. Like he's saying all this shit in his head, and it's kind of cool. So then basically, he wants to get Ainz wants to get information.
He's playing the game, but he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah, and so oh no, I'm sorry. I took that back. Osk is the fight promoter.
Yeah.
Fluter is the fucking the goddamn wizard that betrayed the Baharusian Empire.
Emperor, yeah.
Yeah, and so Ainz goes, that's where he does. He immediately teleports and leaves, and he goes to meet with Fluter, and he's basically he says, hey, listen, you've hooked it up. Now I'm going to give you this book. And so he gives him this book that he can't read. It's not, you need a thing to translate it.
Yeah.
And so Ainz gives him like a taste of it. He lets him read one page from it, and it's on the true nature of souls.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, oh, this page.
Which is probably the most advanced technology, or the biggest advancement in magic probably in that world's history then.
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I think we'll get into later about my theory of
right, yeah.
The way that this whole thing kind of works. Mm-hmm. Because that right there was a good indication that I think the technology that they've advanced over the years has been only at spurts because of other players that have come in, and it kind of feels like that's what's happening. But anyway, so we'll get to that though at the end. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Ainz goes back and he says, "Well, and then Fluter's like, I can't read the rest of this. What the fuck?" And he's like, "Well, hey man, you know the words of one page. It's up to you to translate it, and figure it out." And he's like, "God damn it, you son of a bitch!"
You ever seen the movie Enigma?
What's that one about?
What's his name? The guy who plays Doctor Strange.
Oh, is it the math guy?
No, it's about maybe, but it's about the how the British broke the Enigma code.
Oh, okay.
And in the movie, the way he breaks the code is they're able to get snippets of letters and stuff, but they just can't figure it out. And the way he comes up, wait, what's one word they have to always say in every message? Because they're going through messages that they have, regular messages, that they intercepted and stuff like that wasn't through the Enigma machine, and it always ends with
Heil Hitler.
Heil Hitler.
Yeah,
Heil Hitler, and they use that to break the cipher.
Yeah,
and so I'm saying, like, so you can break a cipher with just
certain words. Certain
all
letters.
they knew was Heil Hitler. Yeah, and they broke the code. So if he has a whole page worth that's already been translated.
Oh yeah, that should almost the entire. Shit. There's only 26 letters in the alphabet, right? Mm-hmm. If you had one full page of a book, all 26 letters are in there. More than likely, they're used at least once. Maybe you're not getting X or Z. Maybe those are not being used fully.
No, Y is actually a pretty common letter to use.
Yeah, but you could basically have almost every letter. Mm-hmm. So you could figure it out, I feel like. So then Ainz goes back, and he's talking back to Osk, who is the guy with the fight. And he's basically saying, he's telling him, hey, I want to get this rune crafted sword. That he sees this rune sword.
Oh, right, this is going into the dwarves.
This is how we get started into that dwarf thing. And so he sees this sword and he asks him about it. And he's like, who could make such a wonderful sword?
That was one part of this I don't get. Yeah. So, I mean, there's no spoiler shit because...
Right. Everybody's seen this shit. It's been out.
And if not, then it's your fault.
Yeah, it's your fault. Hell, if you've been listening to this for 4 seasons and you haven't seen it, I don't know why the fuck you've been listening to this. Like, I don't know.
But, because we find out that the glyph system that they use to enchant weapons became obsolete.
Right, yeah. Shit. Or no, I think it died out or something is what we find out.
Yeah, because nobody was doing it anymore. Yeah. Because the other way they do it, which I don't remember how they did it, because there was another method that's being used. But... So it was a lot easier, cheaper to do. So that's why the dwarves stopped doing it, because it wasn't worth making the sword this way as opposed to the other way, because it was doing it faster, cheaper. Yeah. But as we find out with Lord Ainz, is to a lot lower potency.
Yeah.
So one made with the dwarven glyphs was 100 times was worth like 100 swords than the other way.
Yeah.
How does that happen? It's like the best I can do is right now is like World War II. When the Japanese went to war, people went with their family swords.
Yeah.
That were made hundreds of years ago, folded 100 times by hand. And then the regular people who didn't have family swords got mass-produced katanas.
Yeah.
Which are worth a lot of money today, not because they're quality swords, but because of they were used in World War II. As opposed to those family swords, which are going to be worth way more because they were made better. They lasted just a fucking generations.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, the World War II, a forged sword is great, but the ancient sword is going to be where it's at.
Right, yeah.
So even though the newer technology can make the swords faster and cheaper, they're still not going to be the same quality as the ancient ones.
Right.
So my idea is like the way I see with these rune magic is the same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why it went out of favor.
I feel like because nobody was. I think that the one dwarf guy says that no one was buying them, and it was because there was no need. There was a period where there was no need for, because now remember they said you can only have, I think, like 5 runes max on a sword, whereas before you could have like 20 or 30, or it was like almost unlimited.
Because they forgot how to do it.
But they forgot how to do it because there was the demand, because there was, I think because of that, there was someone who came who was like this all powerful being like Ainz. And basically made it so that he brought peace, or this person brought peace to the land and killed all the enemies, and then therefore there was no need for this technology anymore. So it just, over the years, it just disappeared, and it through the generations. And because I'm getting into my theories, is I kind of a little bit, I'm feeling like
this is like the one moment where me being a sub versus dub guy, that this is actually handicapping me because I'm having a hard time understanding the story through letters as opposed to
as we're actually hearing it. Yeah. And so that's where I think my theories of like, because there's several hundred years that take place between someone from the outside somehow getting transported into this universe. It seems like there's like several hundred years, because we'll get into it a little later, but they talk about that at the end, or towards the end, about how there's these periods of like several hundred years where you can tell like, oh, the great kings or emperors or whoever they were, and they think that those were player characters, and that's kind of what they refer to them as.
That's actually a cool thing that happened in the sub. Because when the dragon's talking to that old lady, whatever her name is, I forgot, the ancient, the old lady that was like the great adventurer.
Oh yeah.
And the dragon's just talking to her, the one that can't fly anymore.
Yeah.
And because he's in there talking to her, like, again, I'm reading and hearing the affirmations, but like not understanding them.
Right.
And he's like, what is the NPC?
Yeah. You hear those key words.
You know what I'm saying? And then player.
Which is funny that they don't have a word for that. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I think they do. It's just that the English vocabulary of it has become ingrained into
into their lexicon,
into the culture of gaming.
I get you. So anyway, so that's when we went on a tangent about the dwarves, but we'll get to them later, because they come into play for sure in this rest of the season.
And the dragons.
Yeah, and the dragons too. So after that, we go back to the fight, because it goes back to the fight after they have that conversation, and now it's the present time. The trolls, he comes out, it's this giant troll, the warrior king named Gogin, and he's pretty smart for a troll. I know we both missed. And so Ainz decides he likes this dude and he wants to hire him. And he's like, nah, and he says, all right, listen, like, hey,
what if I show you unbelievable power?
Yeah. And so he says, okay, if you win, I'll work for you, basically. So Fairness says, hey, fine. Or Ainz says in the interest of fairness, I will use no high spell magics. I'll basically just keep this to.
Which he lied.
Yeah, I mean he did, but whatever. I mean,
but he still proved his point.
Yeah, he proved his point, and so Gogin puts up a good fight, but ultimately he dies. It's fruitless, yeah. So then Ainz resurrects this dude right before everyone, and essentially, fucking the Emperor just bows down to him in this whole thing and requests that the Empire become a vassal state of the. Oh, go ahead.
I was like, we were just talking about this because we were talking about the Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. The assassin could be anywhere. He's a master in disguise and can blend into a crowd so well we never see him coming with vision. That's funny. That is pretty fun. That is going to be a glaring thing they're going to have to figure out how to fix.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, Ainz says, well, I don't know about this, but okay, you know what? I'll have Albedo, have my staff send them the paperwork, and then they'll figure it. They'll send it all up here. We'll do this right, you know.
In his head, I fucked up.
Yeah, he says, and then he's just basically, the Emperor's basically saying like, God damn it! Hopefully, I will survive this because I may be useful to this guy. So Ainz has gotten this guy to swear fealty to him and make this. He has now expanded his kingdom essentially by an accident. Yeah. And again, like you said, that luck stat is fucking through the roof for him. So then we get into episode 5. This is where we get to the dwarves, in pursuit of the land of dwarves. And now this is when basically we start going to the dwarves. And now Albedo, because Ainz is sitting there like doing paperwork, right? And he's like, Jesus Christ, look at all this fucking paperwork. He's like, this is what this was about. And so Albedo is telling Demiurge basically that, oh, Lord Ainz is not happy with this, and you know, Ainz wants the two of them to arrange for the Empire to become a vassal state. Mm-hmm. And he's like, damn it, like, you know,
I was looking forward to killing them all.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's like, whatever, fine. So then Ainz basically says, hey, I want to make an alliance with these dwarves. All right, we need to go check it out and figure out where they're at and fucking go find them. So he goes on this mission himself. He takes Aura, Shaltir, and
his goal is to combine the rune magic from Yggdrasil
with their
style.
Yeah. And so he can hopefully make like
something unique,
world tier items potentially.
Yeah. Because because they made one weird world tier item, which was that staff, mm-hmm. which can alter the fabric of reality.
Yeah.
Because it had how many heads, whatever, around it?
I think it was like not 8 or 9.
Yeah, because that was the original members.
Yeah.
And they made this like he talked about in the first episode that it took everything they had and all in a shitload of the time.
Yeah.
So he made something we have yet. The only thing we've seen it do was change Alberto from hating him to wanting his kids.
Yeah, basically. So then he takes Shaltir, Aura, and Zembaru, the lizard man. Mm-hmm. And because he has, he knows about the dwarves and he knows where they're at. So he's like, cool, we can use this to our advantage. So he's hoping Ainz is taking Shaltir because he wants to hopefully
teach her some shit.
Yeah, and let her gain some more independence, I guess.
Because he's noticed that with all the other guardians have been growing. But even the fucking even Sebas, who isn't a full guardian, but the maids are growing. The fucking that dumb bitch, the redhead, even learned.
Yeah.
But Shaltir is the one that's like
lagging behind a little bit. So he's like, oh, hopefully this will help. So she's like, yes, sir, I will be taking notes on everything that we do. And she literally does that. She has this booklet and she's literally writing down every word that he says and every action that he takes. And it's kind of fucking hilarious.
But it's funny too that Aura is the one that like fucking knocks some sense into her.
Yeah, basically. So then secretly Ainz is talking about these runes and how he's saying, hey, these are from Yggdrasil. And he's like, the only way that the dwarves could know is if there was another player here to teach them how to do this. Mm-hmm. So that's when this whole thing of other players being in the world starts to become prevalent in the storyline. So essentially we get into, that's when, Aura is the one that suggests to Shaltir that she...
Isn't that something you can also appreciate about this anime? That the Dwarven thing... You don't think that? Don't you feel that it could have been an entire arc?
I feel like that could have been a whole season.
Yeah, it was handled in 5, 6 episodes?
I think they handled this in like 4.
Yeah.
I want to say. Maybe, let me see.
Well, look at 2 in the other season with the Lizard Men. That could have been a whole season.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been an arc.
It could have been, yeah.
And no, it was handled in 2 or 3 episodes.
True. Yeah, they handled this in like, this was like in 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Like they handled this whole situation with the dwarves and basically made them homies, as we'll get to. So basically, Ainz is they get to the dwarven city Fiorehido, and it's abandoned except for one dude, which I thought was kind of cool. Gondo Firebeard, and he's got a ginger ass beard, man. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Well, that's a dwarf.
I know, but like, fuck yeah, man. I like that. Well, maybe because I'm a ginger, that's why I fucking enjoy that. I'm also a dwarf,
that's. There's a reason why that every time you see a redhead in an anime, it's a dwarf or some shit like that.
Yeah.
It's every human.
It's because me. So basically, Ainz says like, "Hey man, I'm looking about making an alliance with some dwarves, and we want to get some of these runes." And that's when Gondo tells him all that shit about, "Hey man, there's like nobody. Yeah, there's like, there's like 5 of us that know how to do it, and like we don't know how to do it like what you're talking about."
Yeah.
And that's when he kind of explains that whole thing we just kind of previously talked about it being lost, and the dwarven society's basically been in decline. So Ainz says, "Hey man, I'll help you guys out. And if I help you guys out, maybe we can figure this out together." And so Gondo basically swears his loyalty to him and says, "Oh yeah, I'm down, I'm in." So this is when they encounter the Quagga or whatever it's called, and it's these
very
like
Aztec sounding name.
It is, and they're these like mole people, I guess. This is probably what they are, and they essentially just eat metal, and that makes their fur like armor.
Yeah,
and so Ainz basically tells Shaltir, "Hey, I need them alive because we need to find out who the fuck they are and where they came from." So he's happy that she deduced correctly what the reason was for why he wanted to do this. So she does this whole cool thing, and she what does she do that? What is it called where she traps? Or it's like mind or body control or something like that. She does,
yeah.
And it just like they freeze in place, and then she has this ability. Yeah, basically, and then she has this ability where she can fucking charm them, and then she charms like the leader, and he basically is like, "Oh yeah, what do you want to know, baby?" And then he tells her like everything she wants to know. It was pretty good. And so basically, they find out that the Quagga are basically the support force that was led by this clan lord Pirio, and he's leading an army to destroy what is basically left of the Dwarven Kingdom. And so then we get into episode 6, the impending crisis, and that is, when the Quagga army attacks Feojera, which is the
Dwarven Kingdom.
What's left of it. And Ainz arrives just in time, and they go through the back gate, and he's like, to the general in charge, he's like, "Hey, what's going on? We're here to help you with the Quagga." And they're like, "Oh, thank fucking God," because they were about to fuck our shit up. So they accepts him in immediately. So Ainz sends out some Death Knights. And this is another thing about it shows how he is fucking stupid, because he sends out these Death Knights to go kill the Quagga, right? And they do just that. And so there's this I forget what it was called, but it was like this chasm or whatever.
Yeah.
And I forget what the name of there was a name for it, but they call it like something the Rift or whatever. And so they basically the Death Knights are going across, and the guy who's in charge of them is smart, and he realizes we can't kill these things. So cut the bridge while they're on it. And that's exactly what he does. So Ainz sees that the 2 Death Knights are dead. And he's like, "Oh shit. Whoever killed them must be like the strongest fucking things we've ever faced. Because no one's been able to kill a Death Knight." And in reality, they didn't actually do it.
They were just smarter than him.
Yeah, right. They killed them, but not by accident.
Well, that's the thing. The Death Knights are strong and stuff, but they don't have no intelligence. They have
and they're not invincible either.
They are in the sense of nothing so far has been able to defeat them,
other than falling down a fucking bottomless chasm.
I'm saying, so their greatest weakness is that they can't think for themselves.
Right? Yeah.
So the or whatever the Quaggas, whatever, were able to cut the bridge because he realized, you know what, me not strong.
Yeah.
They go down whole. We good.
Yeah, we good. Yeah, basically. So Ainz, while this is going on, Ainz basically has a meeting with the Dwarven Council, and he offers basically like a trade alliance. He's like, "Hey, listen, we will go and get your native home. We will take it back from you, or from the Quagga.
For you. And
we will also provide you with protection. And in exchange, you need to pump out some of these runes, all right? You need to make some shit, all right?" So they kind of reluctantly agree, because they're also like, "Oh, hey, by the way, there's also this frost dragon that lives nearby." And so Ainz basically says, "Hey, I'll take care of all this shit. I'll take care of the Quagga. I'll take care of the frost dragon. But if I'm going to do all that, I want all your runesmiths to come and study and learn in my kingdom, and they're going to come with me." And so, like I said, they reluctantly say, "Fine, we don't really have much of a choice. It's either that or we all fucking die." So,
sorry, something just came to my mind.
What was that?
Remember a while back they had the hot tub episode where it was with the guys?
Oh, yeah.
And Ainz was with them, right?
Yeah.
So because he's bones and he was in that hot water, did he turn that into a broth?
Oh, damn. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. That's very interesting. So basically, he meets all the runesmiths and they all agree to everything because they're like, hell yeah, we want to learn how to do this shit again. So Gondo kind of says like, hey, I'll be like your guide and get you into everywhere, but you got to kind of help me out if I want to steal this book that has like the runes that's in the treasury. And he's like, I want to take this for myself. So Ainz is basically just like, I'll look. I think I could look the other way when that's going on. And so then Ainz basically is telling Shaltir, hey, I want you to go figure out who and find out who killed the Death Knights because they're super powerful, blah, blah, blah. And so that's when Aura is like, basically Aura is like, oh, he already knows that how they were killed by the chasm and all this stuff, and he just wants you to learn to figure it out. Because look at the feat in this. He's like, oh, Lord Ainz has already seen all this. And when in reality, he has not. He has no fucking idea. And that's fucking hilarious. So then we get into episode 7, the Frost Dragon Lord. And that's when we see the Quagga Yaz. He goes back to pay Ryo, and he tells them about how they just got their ass handed to him. So they go to the Frost Dragon, Olisard, I can't say. I'm just going to call him Olisard. They go to the palace. He's there. They're like, hey, man, can you kill these guys for us? Because, like, if they come for us, they're going to come for you, and then we can't do the shit for you no more. Come on, man. So he says, okay, fine, I'll do it for, like, all this fucking gold or whatever. So he's like, but I'm going to need 10 times the amount of gold that you brought. And they're like, oh, fuck. Well, it can be done. We'll do it. Mm-hmm. So they kind of agree. So then he sends his son, Hayan Mal, which is basically the fat, cowardly dragon.
With the glasses?
With the glasses, yeah. He sends him to go take them out. Because he's like, oh, this will be a good test for him. And so he shows up and he immediately surrenders, like pisses himself on top of that. And
then rolls around in it.
Yeah, and then rolls around in it, basically. So then that's when we get into this section where they go meet the Quagga. Shaltir basically tells them, hey, man, you got a choice. Either all 60,
not even run, serve or die.
Yeah, basically, or she says, all of you will swear loyalty, or I'm gonna kill everyone except for 8,000 males and 2,000 or 8,000 males and females and 2,000 children. So he chooses to fight, and Shaltir literally kills 50,000 of them. Mm-hmm. So Ainz goes in. He basically he just kills the dragon like outright.
No, because
he stops his heart.
He comes in and is like. Because he comes in and I thought it was a fucking cool, not cool, but it was funny that this dragon became his mount.
Yeah, basically he rides in on the guy's son.
Yeah, and then he's like, who's the dragon in charge? Or like he didn't even do like that because he never exerts himself. Like, oh, so who's in charge? And the guy's like, you there, the man. Oh, so it must be you, grass part.
Yeah, and he just kills him. Outright.
He goes, all right, cool. I don't know if I need this many dragons. Hey, who's your mom? Oh, she's, and they're we are. Yeah. Because they knew what was going to happen next. He goes, what? Oh, you guys are communally raised. Yeah. Because you have a mother that gave birth to you, but all the women. He goes, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and so he's like, all right, fine, they can live. So basically, he immediately takes over. Shaltir tells him all the stuff about what she learned, and he tells her, oh, I'm very proud of you. And she's like, oh, yeah, Mm-hmm. And now basically, Ainz summons up Demiurge to say about, hey, what's going on with the Holy Kingdom that you're supposed to be fucking with over there? Mm-hmm. And Demiurge is like very impressed that he's like, damn, you got the Empire and the Dwarven Kingdom to swear loyalty, and they're all vassal states now. And even though it was basically through luck and misunderstanding, he thinks that Ainz has figured out plans for at least the next 10,000 years.
Yeah.
And this is all happening by accident, essentially.
It's funny because Demiurge isn't realizing that he's literally the one running this shit.
Yeah, he is. Oh, fuck.
What happened?
Oh, my mic cut out for a second there. All right, it's back on. All right, yeah, Demiurge is running the shit. Mm-hmm. There's no question about it. He's running the show. So, then we get into episode number 8, an unexpected move. And that's when Demiurge basically manipulates the Holy Kingdom into trading with the Sorceress Kingdom. Philip, the dickhead from earlier, becomes the Baron. But, well...
He gets a little bit too big for his britches.
Yeah, the farmers can't farm as much food as Ainz needs. Mm-hmm. So, basically, Ainz's finances start to suffer. His money trail starts to hurt. So Ainz is he gives food to the Holy Kingdom for free so that they stop buying from this dickhead. So one of the food deliveries is stolen, and it's traced back to that guy. So Albedo and Ainz, they interrogated Hilma, and that's when they find out. And she basically swears, like he reads her mind or whatever the fuck they did, and they basically he realizes, oh, she's super loyal and devoted, and he's like, okay, this is my mercy or whatever, and I will give my mercy to the 8 fingers and allow you to live, because basically we still need you at this point, so I'll allow it. So Albedo is telling the Floor Guardians that Philip was supposed to incite the commoners into rebelling against the nobility. And then Ainz would peacefully reabsorb the Riestes kingdom into, the Sorcerer Kingdom. And but Philip provoked this instead, because now Ainz has to show up and say, oh, you asshole stole from me, so now I gotta fuck your shit up.
Now it's war.
Yep. So Ainz says, hey, an example is needed to be made. But he is not, on his own merits, he's not happy about this. He's like, fuck, man, this plan failed, but all right, whatever. So Ainz sends a letter to them saying that the Sorcerer's Kingdom, the Bahuruth Empire, the Dwarven Kingdom, the Dragon Kingdom, and the Holy Kingdom, and a powerful figure called the Faceless, all hold the Riestes Kingdom responsible for the attack on the transport and may declare war. So King Rampasa, Zanuck, and his ministers are trapped. They're trying to figure out, okay, we can't win this war, or we blame this all on this dickhead, and then hopefully Ainz will just kill him and then let us live. So
Nova's like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that. So Albedo shows up and she says, oh, she gets surprised because the king offers his own head. He says, allow me to kill myself, or basically kill me and let this be, you show mercy to the kingdom. I'll take full responsibility for this and you can take my life, essentially. That's when we get into episode 9, Countdown to Extinction, which, oh boy, it truly is that. So Albedo tells him to fuck straight off, and no way, we are declaring war on you immediately. And she tells Ainz, like, hey, I'm not going to use any I promise I won't use any high tier spells on these assholes. So Brain, who now has, the Razor's Edge or whatever it's called, the fucking sword that Gazef had, he decides he's going to take the sword and all the students out, and he's going to bail. So Demiurge is still moving shit around in the behind the scenes. He's doing all this stuff. Basically, he's blocking everyone from interfering so that no one else can come to their aid. So this is going to be just a massacre. And so Ainz is kind of worrying about, hey, man, this is going to be too easy for us. And we could learn more from having failure. Because if the Floor Guardians don't actually learn anything without them, if they win without even having to try, they don't learn anything. So Ainz goes and visits the frozen prison on Nazarique's 5th floor to talk to Negredo. Sister. Yeah, Negredo, which is Albedo's oldest sister. And her and Pestonia, which is the lady or the dog lady, which, man, that dog lady was so funny. Like, yes, and I believe this wolf. And also this wolf. And like she said wolf after like every sentence, and that was hilarious.
Well, it's the same thing. Like if you ever watch other animes when they have like cat people.
Yeah, meow.
They'd be like, goes, like the one I'm just watching right now, is like, goes, but meow, sir, goes, it's a trap. You'll be taking you down, meow.
That is funny.
It's like Super Trooper. Meow.
Meow. Meow. So basically, Negredo and Pestonia want Ainz to stop killing humans because they think the humans have an infinite potential that we could learn from, and we're just, quite frankly, wasting it.
Yeah.
So Ainz says, all right, I see your point, but we need to set an example here. I still have to kill these assholes.
The majority of them, at least.
Yeah. So he says, I'm just going to massacre the coastal city of Enoel, but I'll leave some of them alive. And so this fucking next sequence really fucking threw me for a loop. Okay. Because it goes to that coastal city, right? And the Count, he hires the 4 armaments, which are mithril level adventurers. And there's one of them, Lilianette. She's like a wizard or some shit. She agrees to marry this guy's 12-year-old son in exchange for whatever their stupid heirloom was, which was like this fucking sword. And she is like this was some real child molester shit right here. And it was completely unnecessary to the story because they all die anyways. So it was almost like, what the fuck was the point of even having this in here?
Maybe to show that maybe not all of these people are worth saving.
It could be, but she was just like, oh yeah, I get to fuck this 12-year-old kid. Oh, she even says this line about how, the ripest fruits are the ones who are the best fruits are the ones that are untouched. Some shit like that. Or the best fruits are the ones that haven't ripened yet, or some weird shit like that. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm going on off the assumption this to show that yeah, they're adventurers and heroes, but they're not exactly.
Yeah, they're not good people, but I feel like that could have been showed in a different way.
I mean, it got the response out of you.
Yeah, it did, but I don't know, man. That I almost was like, I don't know.
Remember, like, it's not lowly because it's not being treated as a positive. It's being treated as a negative in this situation.
Well, also, they're not actually showing it, I guess. Yeah. So, but still, I feel like it's the principle of the matter. And I feel like we can't make exceptions for this. I feel like this is the one thing we can't make exceptions for.
There's no exception here. It is, I mean, I guess it is kind of considered an exception. My thing, I'm not saying it's okay, but the anime itself is showing it as not okay.
Yeah, I see that, but it was complete. We didn't have to have any child molester shit involved in this at all.
I mean, but
unnecessary to me. Completely unnecessary.
That's like saying, like, it's like watching, like, I was really watching the Castlevania show on Netflix. And they're literally showing children getting ripped apart by fucking demons. And one literally is walking away with a baby in its mouth. I'm like, it's supposed to show how bad things are. If you don't challenge what people are saying is bad, because, all right, so if we're saying we all can agree killing babies is bad.
Yeah.
But when you actually see a baby being killed on screen, you have no doubts in your mind. This shit's bad. There is no redeeming quality to that.
Yeah.
And to me, it's showing that, hey, this hero, there's no redeeming quality here. So, because I think this show is trying to it's fucking up your perception of good and bad because we're following the bad guy. We're not following the good guy. But it's showing us, hey, Lord Irons and the Sorcerer Kingdom are the evil people here. But that bitch is bad too. There's no...
Right.
So I'm thinking, my whole thing is that this show's trying to skew the whole... We're following the evil. But even on the other side, we're seeing some bad shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I'm taking it. And I've been on this thing saying how much I hate lowly culture.
Yeah.
But I don't see this as lowly because it's not being... They talked about it's being sexualized, but it wasn't shown as sexualized. Sure. And again, it's being treated as a bad thing as opposed to in regular lowly, it's treated as the goal. Like, oh, that's my fucking waifu. She's 12 years old. Did I stutter?
Yeah.
That's lowly.
Right.
This is, dude, that guy's 12 years old. Did I stutter? You're fucking gross, man. You deserve what's coming.
I don't know. I felt, yeah, I guess, but I felt like I felt like it took up too much time too. I felt like there was too much of
5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that was 5 minutes. It could have been like 90 seconds that they got the point across and that was it. But I felt like they kept trying to hammer it home. And that's where it got excessive. That's the word. It just got excessive of trying to, yes, I get it. These people are bad. Because the dad, the count agreed. He's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. He's the one it was his idea to give his son to this child molester. That was his fucking idea. Yeah, I get it. These people are bad, but I don't think we needed to have the whole and then the fucking the preamble after that. I don't think it was necessary. But I digress. That's what happened. So, anyways, all these assholes. Ainz just sends out 2 death knights, and they basically just are getting fucked over. They're about to all die, and out of nowhere, this the mech suit guy shows up. And it's an adamantite level adventure because he's got it on his neck. He's got the little tag. And it's he's from the adventuring party Drop of Red. And so that's kind of where the episode ends with that. And then we get into number 10, The Last King. And basically, Ainz knows that this armor's from Yggdrasil. He's like, oh, that's an Yggdrasil item. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna let these assholes survive for a little bit. And I'm gonna fall back to Riestes and I'm just gonna destroy the capital. Fuck it. Like so the Blue Roses, the Drop of Red, Azuth is I forget what the girl's name is. Lacus. It's the uncle. He's the uncle of the girl who's in charge of the Drop of the Drop of Red or whatever or the blue, whatever the fuck they are.
The Blue Roses, the blue chick with the evil sword, right?
Yeah. So basically, they go meet this special forces group from the Slain Theocracy, the Black Scripture, and they're in this whorehouse. And that's where they meet. And basically the uncle's like fucking these 2 chicks, or he's about to. And the chick gets mad. And so she fucking charms them and tells them to fuck straight off. So they leave. And then the black, what are they called? The black, what did I say? The Black Scripture. They come in and they asked them to join to the slain theocracy side to fight Ainz. And they're just like, nah, man, we ain't about that shit. Like, we ain't about that life. So Azoth has his plans to fight Ainz by himself, and he's going to save Riestes. He says this is a one-man job, and I got this. So that's when we get back into they're back outside Riestes. The war bands are all assembled. Zanuck calls for a meeting with Ainz. So Ainz sets up the table, gives him this like the most refreshing glass of water he's ever fucking had. And he sets up this whole thing. He wants to know why he refuses his calls to surrender or his attempts to surrender. And Ainz tells him like, hey man, you guys have to, an example needs to be made, man. You can't surrender. You all need to die. You need to be annihilated. So Ainz says, hey man, like basically what are we all looking for? We're all looking for happiness, right? Like we're all trying to be happy. And that's kind of like the gist of it. So Zanuck wonders, hey man, if I actually ever would have fit in, would I have been a good king? Like, would I have actually been it? Because he's like, this is it, I'm dead. So that's when he goes back to his army, and that's when we find out that the nobles are like, oh, we're going to kill you and give him your head so that you can fucking be, so that they will let us live.
Right.
So they do, so later, all these nobles show up outside of Ainz's little fort, and
they give him his head.
And they beg for his mercy, and Ainz...
It goes very well. Take him to whatever labyrinth, whatever it was.
Yeah, the frozen prison. And so...
that's when he shows that he's pissed.
Yeah.
It's like, tell her to torture them until they beg for death, and only then to give it to them. He goes, okay. And then she grabs her, and even then, make it slow.
Yeah, and so then he is just fucking disgusted by this. So he tells Cocytus and Mare, massacre Riestes. Any method you desire. However you want to do it. They just rolled a nat 20.
And once again, this shows why Cocytus is probably one of the best characters in the show.
Yeah. So that's the end of that episode. Then we get into Well Prepared Traps, episode 11. And basically, the king is mourning. He knows his son is dead, and this is now the end of his kingdom. So Shaltir goes and picks up the 8 fingers. And Ainz advances on the capital. Azoth is the guy with the red fucking flight suit, the mech suit, the mobile suit, I guess, basically, for lack of a better term. He flies in and he starts fighting Albedo. And so Ainz gets ambushed by a different guy in platinum armor, Riku Agania, which was the guy's name. He traps him in this barrier that he can't break. So Ainz basically ends up battling this thing, and he offers the guy to, hey, you could become my subordinate, all this stuff, and the guy tells him to fuck off basically and just keeps fighting him. So this whole time Ainz is like fighting him and he's getting pushed back, and oh shit, like you're actually seeing him get fucking worried here. So then he begs and kneels for mercy, and he claims that he's the victim and Riestes is the criminals, and Agania, he agrees, but he says, hey, you went too far, so you got to die. And that's when Albedo breaks through the barrier, and she fucking basically makes this guy retreat and regroup back in the woods with Azoth. So that's where this guy is revealed to be
the dragon,
Saint Dorcas Vyzen, the Platinum Dragon Lord.
The one that I was talking about earlier, where he was talking to that old adventurer lady. Yeah, it was that dragon,
right? And so he's talking. This is where the world stuff starts getting into play here, and he's curious that Albedo was the one that broke the barrier while Ainz couldn't do it. And he thinks that Albedo either has a world item that allows her to do that, or that she's actually the player. And he refers to her by that as the player, and that Ainz is the NPC. And so he starts to make plans to destroy both of them just to be safe. So he considers whether he's going to kill Azoth in order to give his Yggdrasil armor to someone who's stronger. Ainz and Albedo, they go back to Nazarick, where this is where they pissed me off. Because fuck, I thought we finally had.
You're mad that they actually got you.
They got me, man. They swerved me, and I was mad because I had complained about this in the last episode that nothing can hurt this guy, and I thought, holy shit, this is actually a threat to him. Where now it's still untested.
Didn't you also find it weird that he couldn't break through the barrier, but Albedo did.
I did think that was weird, but I don't know. I didn't know why. Now it was revealed that Pandora's actor was Ainz the whole time, and he was not actually there. He was observing safely from one of those mirrors in his castle in Nazarick. And so he wants to know basically everything Pandora's actor learned about Riku Agania. So then we get into episode number 12, which is the invasion of the royal capital. So Ainz wants to know more about this barrier skill. And Albedo, the only reason she was able to break it was because she had the Gagap, the world item that Ainz gave her. So Ainz figures out, hey, we got to defeat this guy so we can learn more. But he doesn't want to go in because if he gets killed, this is when he's like, if I get killed, I can't come back. Like he learns that he's like, I don't think I can come back. That's where
I don't think the NPCs are powerful enough to do that spell.
Right. But I think that he thinks that he can't come back because he's looking back at the past potential history of like, okay, when all these big booms or these big jumps in technology, he's thinking that this is when players came in. Or something to that effect.
And there's no players around as far as he knows.
So it's been several hundred years since the last player was essentially in the realm, for lack of a better term.
Right.
So that's when we go back to Princess Renair visits Brain. The Blue Roses chick. All right. The Blue Roses chick, Lacus, she basically they're having this meeting, and then she basically gets just betrayed, or what it seems to be betrayed by her own Blue Rose people, and she gets poisoned, and they beat her until she's too weak to resist the hypnosis of Evil Eye. And so they show that, hey, it's revealed that Lycus planned to stay in Riestes to fight, so they wanted to say, fuck that, we're taking her by force to keep her alive. So they basically are going to teleport out of Riestes, and they say, hey, we'll take Brain and Princess Renner with them to a distant kingdom that was wiped out centuries ago. And they said, nah, we're good. So Brain says he hopes to duel Ainz, but he wants to give Gods of Sword to Renner and Climb to return to the king. So Cocytus and Aura basically arrive and just start destroying the city. Brain's looking for Ainz. He finds Cocytus, who did agree to duel him after, they had a little exchange of words. Despite all that, he was doing this training and all his increased abilities. Brain is just killed instantly. Cocytus is impressed, though, at his warrior spirit. So following the lessons he was imparted upon by Ainz, Cocytus figures that Brain might have value, so he collects Brain's sword as a trophy and has his body frozen to potentially be resurrected later should Ainz want it to happen.
Quick question on that.
Yeah.
What do you think of that whole thing he did with the circle where he walked around him?
Oh, before they fought?
No, after they fought, when he froze him and they walked around, and like he made some kind of weird circle for the life we couldn't figure out what the fuck was the point of that.
I feel like that was to preserve. It was like something that he had to do to preserve the body in the frozen spell. Like it wouldn't, because he wants him to be resurrected. So you must have to do something like that to preserve it, or some shit. I guess that's how I took it. It was some kind of preservation thing. But that's how basically that episode ends, and then we get into episode number 13, which is the final episode of the season, The Witch of the Fallen Kingdom, and basically the attack on the capital is in full swing. Renair basically convinces the king to have Climb hide all the royal treasures around the city, hoping that Ainz will want to pick them up and spare some more people so they can escape. So Aura is just she brings in these animals. Or wait, is Aura the girl or the guy?
Aura's the girl.
Yeah. Mara's the dude. So she brings in all these. She's got all these animals, and one of them is a T-Rex.
Yeah.
And they go do this shit, and she's like, "Oh, we need to go do this," and then the T-Rex is like, "Oh," and she's like, "But you're too big to come," or whatever. And she's like, "Oh," she's like, "Lord Ainz wants us to do surgical strike, and you're gonna just destroy the whole thing. So like, we can't have you come." And he's like, "God, brah," and he's all sad. But she's like, "Hey, you know what though? You can go destroy all that stuff over there." And he's like, "Brah," and then he fucking goes off and just starts killing everything. It's pretty funny.
So then what was it? The wolf or something that started disobeying her?
Yeah.
And then all the other ones just fucking killed it.
Yeah, basically. So then she goes and raids the Magician's Guild. Climb eventually returns back to the palace to find that Ainz is there sitting on the throne. The king is dead. And so he thinks that Ainz charmed Renair into killing her dad. Klein challenges him to a duel, but is killed immediately.
Even makes a big show about it. Like, look,
oh yeah,
your sword actually has the potential.
Yeah,
but do you?
And he doesn't. He dies basically immediately. So then, that's when we find out. Klein wakes up, and it turns out that Princess Renair had betrayed everyone the whole time, and that she was made a demon basically, and she wants Klein to also be he's resurrected, and she wants him to become a demon so that they can live forever together.
And they didn't say how she became a demon, right?
No, they didn't.
They did in the light novel.
Oh yeah.
Remember that orphanage she set up?
Uh-huh.
Those were the sacrifices necessary for her to transform.
Oh damn, that's crazy. Yeah.
Remember she went out there to have one last feast? Remember she went out there and gave him a big old feast?
Yeah.
Before the invasion happened?
Oh, to kill them?
That was all poison.
Damn. So basically Klein, he's like fucking losing his mind, but he's like, well, I guess I don't have a choice now. So he says, all right, cool, I guess I'll become a demon. So basically,
did you get that? Did you guys get the song for the dub?
Yeah.
That she sang?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is happening right now?
That video I watched with a guy, he explained there was a reason, there was a reason to do with Japanese culture with that song.
Oh, okay.
And I for the life of me, I can't remember.
Yeah, all right. So then Albedo goes back to visit Philip, and basically he thinks he's going to get a reward, and she basically tortures him to death. So, and she tells him that his dad wanted him punished for his actions. So basically, in the aftermath of all this shit, Ainz
apparently in the light novel, there's like a whole chapter of his torture.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So Ainz meets with the Marquis Raven and puts him in charge of the kingdom's former territory. He also asks him if this conflict made the world understand the foolishness of opposing him, and he basically says, "Oh yeah, it did." And he is basically now like, good. Like he's just standing like, like excellent. And that's pretty much where it ends. I think that ending for the fourth season, again, it left me with more questions, obviously, than answers. And you were right. This was the best season so far. I hope season 5 can capitalize on this momentum and be just as good, if not better.
It's been almost 3 years, so
I'm hoping it's coming soon.
Well, the next thing is a movie.
Oh, okay. Well, now we can go see the movie when it comes out.
I'm sure we will.
So, yeah. So, anyways, this season was pretty good. It did piss me off that the one thing that I complained about heavily last episode. Oh, I will say this. I forgot to tell you, there was a guy who, because Adam used my complaint as the clip.
Yeah, I saw that.
So on TikTok, somebody actually responded.
Oh, what did they say?
They said, I'll just read it. I'm not going to read their name or anything because I don't want to blow them up or whatever. But I mean, shit, if you're on TikTok, you can go read it yourself if you want to fucking read what he said. But I'll just read it here. Let's see. He said, to me, while Ainz is important, the humans and other characters drive the show more because they're reacting to his actions as an unstoppable threat. Plus, I believe we still have the Godkin to worry for. Like that we have to worry about. And I said,
well, I was also going to say this also follows in the same suit as One Punch Man.
Yeah.
Where on paper, this should be the most boring show ever where you have a hero that can beat anybody in a One Punch Man.
Right.
Which to me is my reasoning for why I hate Superman.
Yeah.
He's a boring ass character. Fat Electrician said it best. He's like, because he was talking about the difference between a hero and an anti-hero.
Yeah.
See, Superman is like, the Boy Scout, the one that does this, the one who's always holier than thou, only has sex in missionary position.
Yeah, true.
But I'm just saying, and that's what, there's no threat to him. And that's what makes Superman boring to me.
Yeah.
And with One Punch Man, the story isn't about him defeating the villains. It's literally about the villains, the humans, the older heroes, and their efforts. And literally, Saitama is there to just propel the story where it's being carried by the other character. The show is being carried by the support characters and the secondary characters, while the main character is the one that just keeps the pace going, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And that's the way how I feel about Overlord.
Yeah. And I replied to the guy or the person and I said, hey, that's a pretty good point. Mm-hmm. And then I did say Frank would probably agree with you on this. And so I said, yeah, that was that. But I still stand by my statement that I hate Isekai. Mm-hmm. I also stand by my statement that the one major hang up with the show that I have.
If you hate Isekai, then does that mean you regret watching Overlord?
No, I don't regret watching any anime for the most part. Because at the very least, and this is the other thing, this is gonna sound fucking douchey, but at the very least, we literally got 4 fucking episodes out of this, right? So at the very least, even if I hated the show completely, I would not regret watching it because minimally we got 4 hours worth of content out of it just because I watched the show. So even if it sucked and I hated it,
I hate that you have that mindset.
What?
I really do hate that.
Well, I'm saying like I wouldn't regret it. Like even if I didn't,
I'm not asking you if you liked it because it was best for business. I'm saying, did you regret it because of what you?
No, I didn't regret watching the show. If we're going to look at it from that, so I will say this: removing that point that I just said from the equation, I didn't regret watching it. No, I enjoyed watching it. I will say that I enjoyed watching it, and I likely enjoyed watching it because it did like what wrestling does: is it provoked me to have things, and even if it provoked a negative response in me, it still provoked the response, right? Like you were saying about the fucking child molester fucking thing, right? It still evoked the response. So while I may have hangups or reservations about it, I will also say this: I am very much looking forward to watching season 5 and this movie that's going to be coming out because I want more answers. I want to know what the fuck is going on here.
Well, if my theory is correct, this is just going to be stuff that was on the cutting room floor from the light novel
for the movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a continuation of the story.
Oh, it's just going to be the shit that. So we're going to see new stuff.
Yes,
but we're not going to get new information like.
Yeah, because the last Slime movie, there's like a mini season and a movie that came out before the current season. And from what I understand, those were all stuff that was cut out from the light novel.
Okay. So what would you rate if you had to give this rating? Because now that we've gone over the whole thing, what would you give this if you had to give it a score out of 10?
Still 9 out of 10 for me.
9 out of 10?
Overlord is one of my favorite series.
Yeah. And I think that I am very comfortable giving it a solid B, like an 8.5 out of 10. Like I think that this show, the one hang up I have is I just can't get over the fact that he's basically there's no threat to him right now at this point.
But you like One Punch Man.
Correct.
It's the exact same thing, except it's to the umpteenth degree. At least in Overlord, there are weapons that can hurt him. There is nothing that can hurt Saitama.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain it. I can't explain why I feel that way. But I'm not saying it's bad either. I'm not saying it's a bad show. I gave it an 8.5. That's a pretty goddamn good score. That's a good ass score right there. A solid B. I can't go all the way with 9 out of 10 just because like I said, I just don't. I can't get over that hang up, and then I can't. I did feel like season 2 dragged ass a little bit along, and season 3. Yeah, I'm sorry. I felt like season 3 dragged ass a little bit, and I felt like that kind of maybe brought it down
because it was season 3 was nothing but a setup for season 4.
Yeah,
and season 4 would not have been as good if it wasn't. Literally everything that happened in season 3 was a setup for this season.
Maybe. I don't know. I still, like I said, it's still good. It's still great. I just don't think it's 9 out of 10 because I'm trying to give it an honest score, you know? Right. So, and obviously, you know, we have different tastes in things. We have the same taste in a lot of stuff, but you know, and again, this was a good call because this was a good show to watch. I am glad that we spent the last 4 weeks recapping and reviewing this show. And honestly, it's made me really look forward to and like I told you earlier, doing this for this show, like we did it for the podcast or whatever, and also because like I needed to watch this anime, but it has renewed my interest again in watching shit that I haven't seen. Which, you know, I don't want to say that my interest in anime has been failing over the last couple of years, but maybe in watching new things.
I would 100% say it has.
Yeah.
From where you were when we first met, or we'd be going to the store every month, every so often to go buy new shit, watch new shit. I tell you about new shit, we watch it and talk about it. to the last 10 years, it's been
minimal.
I don't think you've seen an anime in the last 10 years that was new.
That might be right. No, because we watched Bleach. That's not new though. Yeah, that's true. Hey, you might be right. I might have only seen stuff that was either continuations or a property that already existed. Well, Chainsaw Man.
To me, I think that's the real reason you hate isekai.
Why?
Because it's new. It's something that you weren't a part of. So you, in your old age, had to say no. This
is where I draw the line. I mean, I liked Sword Art. I love that show.
Yeah, it was the beginning of the isekai trend.
Yep, and then I hated everything's after that, I guess. I don't know. Well, anyways, Frank, you may sway my mind because we are eventually going to watch the slime one, right?
Yes.
So and here's the other thing. If I watch, because that'll be the third isekai proper that I will have watched, let's just say.
Fifth.
What's the other ones? Okay,
Gate.
Sword Art.
Gate.
Oh, yeah.
Digimon.
Okay, all right. Let's not even count that.
It's an isekai by definition.
All right, fine. Okay.
That Gate, Digimon. I had him in my head
Sword Art, Gate, Digimon, this one, Overlord.
Yeah.
And then Slime will be the fifth one.
You've seen another one. I know you have. But whatever.
Well, anyways, fifth or sixth. It'll be like the fifth or sixth one that I've seen. And I did like all of those that we mentioned, right? So I may have to reconsider my position on isekai if the slime is good. If I enjoy the slime.
The slime is my favorite isekai.
Where's it on your list of anime in general?
It's broken into the top 10.
All right, well, fuck. That must mean it's pretty goddamn good then.
It pisses me off. People were giving a shit because the new season's coming out right now. And I just watched the newest episode today. And people were giving a shit because the last 3 episodes were board meetings. Oh. Because he's an emperor. He runs a village, whatever.
Yeah.
At this point, it's a fucking town. It's a continent now. So he always has meeting with the people. But people were complaining. But literally, those 3 episodes were the setup for today's episode, showing, hey, they planned for everything, and what do you know? They had it. Luckily, they planned for this.
Yeah, true.
With this, you're gonna see it more as hey, this guy is genuinely smart.
Yeah,
he is genuinely working. Like he's not falling ass backwards into his.
So it's not like Overlord.
No. He literally builds up characters to be his general positions.
Okay.
And literally, he the last 2 episodes ago, he's literally just sitting there like, oh, he did discuss about what's going on, and they are literally planning it out. And he's just like, I'm not even having to say anything right now. Huh. Because I'm saying, with this one, you're going to see that's the big difference. And it is nowhere near as dark, but it can get dark.
Yeah. Well, we're eventually going to watch that one. Mm-hmm. The next, what's the next one we're going to be?
As I said, the last one's going to be JJK.
Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen. Mm-hmm. And there's how many seasons of that right now?
2.
2? Okay.
And a movie.
All right.
Which is actually canon.
So then I got to watch 2 seasons and then the movie?
Yeah.
So it's season 1.
You can watch season 1.
The movie.
The first episodes of season 2. And then the movie.
All right. So are we going to do season 1 in one episode, season 2, and then the movie as another episode, or
because you can't watch it in that order?
Oh, okay. So we're gonna do it.
You have to watch season 1. That's okay. Off the bat. You have to watch the first couple episodes of season 2,
and then the movie. All right.
And then the rest of season 2.
All right, so we'll do that then. We'll do season 1, and then we'll do episodes 1 and 2 or whatever you said you got to watch.
4. It's 1 or 4, 2 or 4. So all
right, whatever the number is, and then the movie. We'll do that as 1, and then we'll do the rest of season 2 as the 3rd episode.
Yeah,
because that'll make sense. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And then, do you have any other potential non-review episodes planned for us to do?
I'm working on one right now.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. Well, anyways.
All right, and you're the one who does the outro, dude.
Oh, well, shit.
I do the intros. You do the outros.
Well, anyways, thank you all for listening. This was the finest episodes of the Anime Syndicate podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode and you enjoy us talking about things, you may enjoy us talking about other things. Now that this is the end, I can say all of them because we don't have to get to the fucking chop content. You already heard it all. You can just turn it off right now if you wanted to. But I'm going to say it anyways in case you're still here listening. We have All Gas, No Trash, the music podcast. We have the Buttfuck Nowhere show, the Central Unintelligence podcast, Chirping from the Pine, the Game Rage Sports podcast. We have Game Rage Wrestling. We have Game Rage Movies and TV, where we talk about movies and TV stuff. And we have Panel to Panel about comics, Team Killing Glitchtards, the video game one, and Without Censor, the interview podcast. And if you enjoy us, like I said, talking about these, you can listen to those. And also, don't forget to check out Millennial Frog, the Game Rage magazine record label singular signed artist. Just dropped 3 new albums for a total of 5 studio albums in the last 6 months. He's putting in the work. The 3 albums are Poverty of Content, The Gentleman Known as Millennial Frog, and 30-Second Master. So if you want to check those out, they are available to stream for free on all of the streaming services. And like I said, you don't have to pay for it. It's fucking great. Give it a listen. Give it a whirl. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. And to all of the loyal agents out there who continue to listen week upon week, making the Anime Syndicate one of the top shows here, if not the top show on the Game Rage Podcast Network. We thank you for your work. We thank you for giving us your valuable time, because that's what it is. It's valuable to us. So thank you, agents. This will be Agent Frank and Agent Josh. No, we're not going to have code names?
That was something to discuss later.
Oh.
Thanks.
Oh, stay tuned for code names. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, all right. Well, thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.